As the other mayor would say, seeing that the hour of 7 o'clock has arrived, we'll start the Hastings City Council meeting for Monday, May 16th, 2016. The first thing we have on our agenda is the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, and we have a proclamation we'd like to read. And if Councilmember Vaughn could start.
Whereas the 2008 National Defense Authorization Act empowers the Secretary of Defense and communities to conduct programs on behalf of the nation and the community that commemorates the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, and
whereas there are 5 objectives. First, to thank and honor veterans and the families of veterans of the Vietnam War, including personnel who are held as prisoners of war or listed as missing in action, for their service and sacrifice. Secondly, to highlight the service of the armed forces during the Vietnam War and the contributions of federal and state agencies and governmental and non-governmental organizations that served with or in support of the armed forces. Third objective, to pay tribute to the contributions made on the home front by the people of the United States during the war. Fourth, to highlight the advances in technology, science, and medicine related to military research conducted during the Vietnam War. And lastly, to recognize the contributions and sacrifices made by the allies of the United States during the Vietnam War. And
whereas according to the Department of Veteran Affairs, 9 million Americans served on active duty, including myself, in the U.S. Armed Forces during the Vietnam War, and approximately 7 million are living today. And
whereas Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps Dwayne Foss and Lawrence Harry Swanson were casualties from the Hastings community, along with 58,000 patriots that are etched in black granite who sacrificed all they had and all they would ever know. And
whereas the community of Hastings will join the nation to thank all United States military veterans and families who served during the Vietnam War today and every day. And
whereas residents can find more information and enjoy photo, video, and compelling stories at www.vietnamwar50th.com and throughout the community at the Dakota County Library, Pleasant Hill, and the Pioneer Room at City Hall. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Hastings commemorates the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War today through 11 November 2016 and beyond. Now I would like to invite Dean Markison and Herb Reckinger to up to the podium to talk a little bit about some events that are going on.
I'm going to yield to Herb first.
Thank you, Dean. Very impressed by the amount of Foss and Swanson family members here today. Really something. Okay, today we are here to commemorate the service, valor, and sacrifice of the fallen soldiers of Vietnam. More exactly, we are here to remember or to get to know about the 2 soldiers of Hastings who were killed in action, Lawrence Swanson and Dwayne Foss. There's a national effort going on to locate pictures for each of the 58,307 soldiers who had their names on the Vietnam Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. The organization behind this movement is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, or the VVMF, the same organization that built the wall in 1982. There are still just under 12,000 soldiers without pictures. Today this is just a website, but in about 3 years, the Education Center will open. It will be about a block behind the wall, and here the pictures will be able to be seen, the stories can be read, and the mementos left at the wall will all be on display. Dwayne Foss and Lawrence Swanson are already pictured. You can see the pictures right up there. The 2 young men almost had to know each other. Dwayne was born 4 months before Lawrence in 1948. Dwayne grew up in rural Hastings. Lawrence lived on Spring Street in Hastings. In high school, Lawrence was in football, basketball, and track. Dwayne seemed like he didn't want to have anything to do with sports. Seems like he wanted to be a farmer. He was an FFA for all 4 years. They both graduated in 1966 from Hastings High School. Their graduation pictures are the photos used on the VVMF website that you see right there. Their graduation pictures are about 15 pages apart from each other in the Hastings yearbook. Both Dwayne and Lawrence enlisted in the Marines. As Dwayne was born about 4 months before Lawrence, he also died 4 months before Lawrence. Dwayne died on October 14, 1967, and Lawrence died on February 7, 1968. They were both 19 years old when they became ground casualties in Vietnam. Dwayne is buried at the north end of Elizabeth Ann Seton Cemetery at the south end of town. Dwayne is buried alongside his parents, Henry and Anna. Lawrence is buried at the north end of Hastings at the Lakeside Cemetery on Wilson Street. He is buried alongside his parents, Ruth and Harry. Harry was a veteran of both World War II and Korea. Let us honor these two soldiers who paid the ultimate sacrifice by remembering them beyond this moment tonight. Lawrence Swanson and Dwayne Foss, may they never be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Herb.
At this time, I'd like to recognize the families with a little gift from the Minnesota National Guard, Deployment Cycle Support, Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, and the Dakota County Veteran Service Officer. So I'll give it to the first person in line. I was hoping that I'd have a fellow Marine here tonight, so I have another further token of appreciation to them, and it comes from a Marine that is in my family who says thank you. I cannot say the word, but I can say they are always faithful. The Community Hastings has received a certificate of appreciation from the Minnesota Adjutant General for its work that it's done in the last 8 years. We were proclaimed a Yellow Ribbon community over 5 years ago. I'd like to say that this effort could not have been done without the aid and the assistance of the community. My wife says they all know it's Dean's way of doing things, and he's different. So some think I did it my way, but it was the impossible dream with the theme of I'll be there for you and the community of Hastings, not one single entity. Every resident and partner is a member, not by choice, but by relationship. But I need your support and help to make it a fine-tuned green machine. For the farmers, a John Deere. And for our Wisconsin neighbors, Green Bay Packers. My old school song in Elmdale, North Dakota was Onward, Wisconsin, which talked about being the best you can in everything you do. We've done that. We are second to none and the only community in the world. If Annette was here, I'd say, sorry, Farmington, we just succeeded your status. I could go on and on and on about pausing, reflection, commitment, engagement, perspective, never say no, responsibility, and making a difference. I owe and we owe a round of applause as a reward. and saying a little difference that Minnesota, a little bit different than the Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs says it. Every day is Veterans Day. In Hastings, once a veteran, always a veteran. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. You and all the others who've given so much time and energy to this cause. Hastings has been a Beyond the Yellow Ribbon community since 2010, as Dean remarked on. A couple of things, reminders about what's coming up toward the end of the month. Monday, May 30th is Memorial Day, that most of us know. And there are a fair number of events around town. And I'll remind you, 9 a.m. at the Veterans Home, there's a flag ceremony. 10 a.m. at Roadside Park, there's the program. And following the program, there will be additional short ceremonies to be held at Soldiers and Sailors Cemetery and at the Veterans Memorial at Levy Park. So I hope everyone can participate in any or all of those ceremonies and programs. Thank you. Now we're going to have a presentation for the Heritage Preservation Commission Awards. We have Justin and HPC Commissioner Sarah Wittenstein to present these awards.
All right. How do I advance here? All right. Greetings. I'm Sarah Wittgenstein. I'm here representing the Hastings Heritage Preservation Commission. Each year we gather here to award citizens and commercial property owners, recognizing them and appreciating them for any well-maintenance restoring of properties in accordance with the city's heritage preservation guidelines. So before I get started, dig in, I want to thank the council and of course our city's mayor for the support that you provide us every year. And the drill, as it has gone in the past, is we read your names off. If you would please come up and you will receive a plaque. And once we are complete, we will line up at the front of the room and take a picture. So I will dig in. Yes, and you will have your overalls in the photo. All right, first up we have homeowners Randall and Ann Patsky, 721 6th Street West. This lovely four-square home was built in 1930. Its well-maintained wood lap siding is a testament to how, with care and attention, it is possible to keep wood siding in good repair and looking lovely through the years. This home features distinctive hip roof with a dormer window centered above the front entry, windows with 3/1 lights, and a backyard pergola. This property can also claim some cinematic notoriety as it was featured in the 1990 TV film Hometown Boy Does Good, starring Anthony Edwards. Come on up and... Next up, we have homeowner Barbara Sperlin. I don't know if she is present today. Okay, I will. This is a before picture of, I think this is a decade old or so. So there has been some, not a whole lot of drastic changes, but they have made a few changes to the front. They, you can see, they have changed up the windows in the front patio or porch area. So this house was built in the 1920s. This home features stucco siding with brick trim base, a beautiful enclosed front porch, hip roof, windows with 3/1 lights, and side lights flanking the front entry. This home has been very well maintained and cared for over the decades and is another fine example of how conscientious maintenance and care can keep a nearly century-old property looking grand. It is clear that this homeowner takes great pride in their lovely home.
This was the first house I lived in Hastings.
Really?
We sold it to the Sperlins, but it didn't look quite like that one.
It has always looked great. Next up, we have Alan and Deborah Saunders, if they would step up. So 310 10th Street West. This sprawling mid-century home, built in 1951, sits prominently atop a small hill overlooking Roadside Park, the tennis courts, and the football field. The home features a tuck-under garage, hip roof, wood siding, and has more recently undergone some roof repair, a paint uplift, landscaping work in response to some storm damage. This home has wonderful curb appeal and is very visible in the community. Thank you. Next up, we have Carrie Cardinal. So 513 Vermilion Street. We'd like to highlight that protecting historic homes that may be at risk is an important element of the HPC's mission. Historic properties are often most at risk when there is a change of ownership, particularly when a significant amount of repair or restoration work is needed. We are very pleased to give an award to Carrie, the new owner of 513 Vermilion. This vernacular two-story home, built in 1880, features a nice open porch with swing, new paint, new windows, and has actually was a duplex that had twice been gutted, with remodeling projects started but never completed until Carrie took over the home. Extensive work went into restoring this home both inside and out, and this homeowner was very diligent in partnering with the HPC on any exterior improvements to complete the project. Next up, we have Jeffrey and Amy Deaver, if you wouldn't mind stepping up. So 223 15th Street East. This vibrantly painted Queen Anne home features an elaborately pitched gable roof, symmetrical facade, and an east wing. It is estimated that the home was reworked around the turn of the century to include some classical column work and turn balusters on its wraparound porch. This home was built between 1880 and 1890, but does not appear on maps dating in 1896. This is indicative that the home may have been moved from another location. So, thank you. So again, I want to thank all the homeowners and the council for your support, and I'll have all of the award winners, if you would line up at the front. We will all pose for a picture with you. Move, advance back too.
Councilor, are there any changes or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Any council items to be considered on the consent agenda? Council, what's your wish? Moved by Councilmember Alangi, seconded by Councilmember Brox. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Awarding of contracts and public hearings. Melanie, do you want to start with number one?
Thank you, Your Honor and Council. You have before you tonight a public hearing and consideration of an ordinance amendment related to city seal and execution of contracts. Staff would suggest this is primarily a housekeeping item that would allow administrative approval for contracts up to $5,000. Right now, all contracts would need to go, should be coming before the council. So this would address really sort of routine contracts that we would be entering into. It would always be budgeted items and items for which are included, of course, in the annual budget. So again, we would see this as a housekeeping item, but I would be happy to stand for any questions before or after the public hearing. Thank you.
First, I think I'll open the public hearing and see if we have any comments, and then we can go to some questions. I will open the public hearing on amending the city code, city seal, and execution of contracts. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the issue? Seeing that no one wants to speak to the issue, I will close the public hearing. Council members, are any questions or comments? Council Member Alonji.
Thank you, Your Honor. Melanie, is it safe to assume that there are some standard practices along these lines, that there are other cities or localities where $5,000 is a generally accepted level where city administrators and non-elected officials can sign off on certain things? Do we have an auditor's opinion on this? Just want to just double check, make sure that we're within the bounds of typical practice.
Your Honor and Council, I don't know that we did a poll of peer communities, but I know Dan was instrumental in helping us formulate it, and we ran it by Rebecca, our finance manager. So from that perspective, we're comfortable that it's not out of line. And she's a former auditor, so we
Sure.
trust her opinion on that.
Sure, that sounds wise. All right. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Your Honor.
Are there any other questions or comments? Council, what you wish?
Make a motion to pass.
Motion by Council Member Alonji, a second. Second by Council Member Nelson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Nick, you've got the next two items, contracts? Oh, Ryan, sorry. The guy from Wisconsin. The Badger fan.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so tonight, first item for Public Works is the consideration of contract award for our 2016 infrastructure improvement project. That's the Bailey Street area. So we have a resolution in your packet tonight for approval. On April 28th, the city did receive 3 bids for this project, 3 very competitive bids, which is good for us. The low bid, Pembroke Companies, we should be familiar with. They're currently working downtown on the Riverfront Renaissance. But we did go through our reference checking and background checks, and as they checked out on that project, they did so as well. So we do ask them who their project manager and superintendent's going to be, and they're going to be dedicated to Hastings if this is awarded for this summer, definitely on both projects. So, but they did pass reference checks. One thing to note, we did have 3 alternate bids, and we are recommending award of alternate bid number 3. That lowers the project cost by $38,000. That's changing or substituting ductile iron water main with plastic water main. So in the resolution, that deduction is included, and it's staff's recommendation to award the contract to Pembroke Companies for their total amount of $1,419,349. And I'll stand for any questions.
Council members, what you wish?
A question, Your Honor?
Councilmember Alonji?
Thank you. Ryan, can you, when you talk about alternate number 3, can you tell me what exactly so we spend $38,000 less, which is good, and in return we get plastic instead of what material, and what's the longevity comparison of those materials?
Well, so we're substituting ductile iron pipe for the plastic C900 pipe.
Okay.
I would say the longevity is equal to or greater than with the plastic pipe, just for its resistance to corrosion in the soils. So I think we're getting the same durability and production out of that material.
Okay. It feels counterintuitive that it would cost less then. Is there anything that you feel that we are giving up that we should be aware of?
One thing to consider is locating of the water main. We do have to pull a tracer wire along to locate the plastic pipe versus the ductile iron we can locate. That's one change. But other than that, no, it's just a update of standards and material technologies that we're comfortable with and readily accepting in the engineering world, so.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Your Honor.
Are there any other questions? Council, what's your wish? Councilmember Alonji moves to accept the Pembroke Company bid. Is there a second? Councilmember Nelson makes a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion prevails. And Ryan, do you have information also on the third resolution on the pavement? Or is that Nick? All right, listen,
We're just
guys.
throwing you off left and
Please
right tonight.
please put notes on your shirts when I'm presiding.
I'll be quick.
Okay.
So before the council this evening is a resolution to award our 2016 annual seal coating project contract to Allied Blacktop in the amount of a little over $158,000. We got 3 bids on that work just recently here within the last 2 weeks. Allied was very competitive. They, I think this will be the 7th year running that they would end up with a contract. They're very hungry for work, and they competed the strongest compared to the 2nd and 3rd place bidders. So it's a good unit price for us, and we're realizing some savings that in this case this year we're going to utilize towards additional crack sealing in other parts of town. We're sitting pretty good on seal coat coverage as it stands at today. We'll still have a continuous program, but we're sitting pretty well on that, and we think the best practice in this case is to apply that added funding over to the crack sealing program. So that's what we're proposing to do. So I'll stand for any questions. Turn it back to you, Your Honor.
Nick, so 210,000 less than what we were anticipating, is that, am I reading that correctly?
No, it's our total program budget is 210,000. So this makes up 158 out of that. It's about 19% less than what we estimated we would have to spend on seal coating for this year for the areas that we programmed.
That's perfect. Council, any questions? A motion? Do you have a question? Councilmember Nelson moves, makes a motion, seconded by Councilmember Brox. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. And comments from the audience? Comments from the audience. Anybody have any comments? Okay, council members, any reports, announcements you want to make? Councilmember Vaughn.
Just that I have a Red Rock meeting coming on May 26th at 4:30 up at Newport City Hall.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I believe we have on June 2nd, this coming month, the next HEDRA meeting, Hastings Economic Development Redevelopment Authority, meeting at 6:30 p.m. Thursday, June 2nd in these chambers. And that's a slight difference on the second Thursday. It's the first Thursday of June that is happening this month, according to John Hinsman on staff.
Exactly. Okay, I have a couple. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is Police Week open house from 4 to 8 at the Police Department on Sibley Street. There will be police vehicles to explore, station tours, and some refreshments. So we encourage everyone to go to that event if they're able, and if you see a police officer, thank them for their service. The HPC will have its monthly meeting Tuesday, tomorrow at 7 p.m. here at City Hall, and filings for for the 4 ward City Council seats begins tomorrow morning. Applications are available here at City Hall. Filing fee is a whopping $5. Filings are open until 5 p.m. Tuesday, May 31st. City Hall office hours are 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Thursday, May 19th, Councilmember Balsanic, do you want to talk about that? No? You got DCC Board of Directors.
Yes, I'm looking here.
You need to get one of those fancy phones.
I'm still up in cabin country.
Okay.
Did you think it was your anniversary again, Councilmember Bosanek, or? No, sorry.
It's the first thought.
Yes, the 19th, 8 a.m. is the Dakota Communications Center Board of Directors meeting, and I will be attending that.
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
I'm going to dress a little better
Okay.
for that, yeah.
That's fine. It's in Apple Valley, right? Yeah, City Hall.
It's in Apple Valley, so you don't need to dress up.
No.
Oh,
This Friday, May 20th, the annual Arbor Day celebration is going to be held down at Gretton Park at 1 o'clock. Event is open to the public. More information on the city's website. And next Monday, May 23rd, Planning Commission will have at its regular meeting, 7 o'clock here at City Hall. And next Thursday, May 28th, May 26th, May 26th, the Levy Park Grand reopening from 4 to 8 o'clock p.m. I invite everyone to come down and celebrate the park's renovations. There will be entertainment, food, and fun. I think it's going to be fabulous. The riverfront is, it's just gorgeous, and everything's coming along so beautifully. City Hall offices will be closed on Memorial Day for the Memorial Day observance, and I made the announcements on the Memorial Day programs earlier. And the next City Council meeting will be Monday, June 6th, and there's also a City Council workshop at 5 o'clock to discuss the MnDOT traffic study, so put that on your calendar. Is there any other business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Councilmember Vaughn, Councilmember Brox, all in favor? Aye.
I.
Meeting adjourned.